Hello, 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 and welcome to Starting the Day the Right Way 5-minute devotion for May 12th, 2021. All right, jumping right into it. So, my little guy has been living on a honeymoon of answered prayers for about 2 months. He hates when it rains during the day, right? Because why? Because it interrupts his recess time, it interrupts his lunchtime, it interrupts his playtime after school. So after, I don't know, back in February, I think we had biblical proportion rain down here in South Carolina. It seemed to rain for like 30 or 40 or 50 days straight. And then it stopped, right? And then one day passed and another and another and another. And soon before you know it, we hadn't had rain in a while. And so I'm dropping him off to school yesterday, and he had a play date scheduled. And he's like, "Oh gosh, Daddy, can we just pray that it doesn't rain today? I really want to go to this play date." I said, "Sure." So we prayed, and no problem. Even though it was cloudy, I went on to explain to him we haven't had rain in a while. I said, "When was the last time you remember me picking you up from school because of the rain?" He's like, "I don't even remember." I said, "I know exactly, but we'll pray." So we prayed. It didn't rain, and he had his play date. So today we got into the car and it started raining. And he was like, "Oh man." I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I hate being a car rider because when it rains, he also hates waiting in the car line until we get to the front of the line because they only let out about 10 or 20 students at a time. So earlier in the year, he had to wait about 45 minutes. He didn't like that. So I go an hour before, and I'm like the third car online. And I get to the school about an hour before he needs to be picked up, just so he doesn't have to wait. And he hates that because that takes away from his playtime. So he got in the car, and I didn't know which way we were going to go. But he's like, "Well, Dad, I guess the earth needed some water, and God had to let it rain a lot today, but it's supposed to be great tomorrow." And it was just good to see that attitude that he had, because that's what me and his mother are trying to instill in him, that everything's not the end of the world when you don't have answered prayers, or when your feelings are based upon things that are going on around you. Which leads me to this verse in Colossians 3, one verse, short and sweet. The NLT puts it really short and sweet. "Think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth." Okay, so that's the NLT. The Message puts it this way. "So if you're serious about living this new resurrection life with Christ, act like it. Pursue the things over which Christ presides. Don't shuffle along, eyes to the ground, absorbed with the things right in front of you. Look up and be alert to what is going on around Christ. That's where the action is. See things from his perspective." I just love the Message and the way they put things, that particular version puts things. All right. So what does it mean to think about the things of heaven and not the things of earth? All right. What was the last thing that Jesus said? He said to go and spread the good news into all the world, right? So if you are a follower of Christ, if you are heavenly minded, right, you should be focusing on the things that Christ did. What did Christ do the most? He spread the gospel. He told people of the good news. And then he followed up with miracles and healings and signs and wonders, right? But he was the good news. He was the forgiveness of sins. He was the eternal light. He was eternal life. And that's what he did for 3.5 years of his life, right? Are we doing that? When we talk to people, when we run into people, are we being kingdom minded? Are we being earthly minded? Okay. Now, down here in South Carolina, we just about ran out of gas the last couple of days. Things got resolved late this afternoon, so hopefully we'll be back in order. But man, the attitudes at the gas lines, these days it doesn't take much to pull out the worst in people, right? Why? Because we're focused on earthly things. People, we got to switch it around. We got to get focused on heavenly things, because Jesus is returning. Obviously, no one knows when, but there is a date designated for his return. Do you want to be caught taking care of the earthly things, Or do you want to be caught taking care of the heavenly things? Okay? Build his kingdom and God will take care of the rest. Put his kingdom first and God will take care of the rest. All right, guys, dig into this verse. I hope it was a blessing. We'll be back. Take care.